crisp evening in downtown Portland, Oregon as we get set for the start of the 2017 USL season between T2 and the Real Monarchs. Should be an exciting one here on the opening night of the 2017 season. Welcome into Providence Park, everyone. Tom Kolker along with Willie Anderson. Really, the start of the season, results always important early, but in the bigger picture, the grand scheme of things, it's about getting these youngsters up to the first team.
Yeah, and the Timbers do this great. I think, it's like a youth development program. You start off in the academy, and when they feel you're good enough, ready enough, they bring you into T2. Look at Farfan, local kid, 18 years old, still going to high school. He played at the Galaxy for the first team this season, was it within the squad. The poster boy for everybody. If you want to have a go at it, come here. It's a great place to do it.
The average age of this T2 team just 20 years old. Let's talk about our player to watch tonight, and he's very dynamic. Milan Bijev, first team USL last year, 8 goals, 10 assists. He led the league in assists.
Yeah, I watched him last year, and I just loved him. He's got everything. His vision's amazing. His skill level is great. He's a tough mother too. But when he scores goals, they're like incredible goals. He's just a delight to watch, and I'm sure he's knocking on the door to the first team squad.
Let's take a look at our T2 starting lineup tonight. And I know another guy you really like out on the wing, Victor Arboleda.
I love Arboleda. If you want to have fun watching the game tonight, watch Arboleda. He's fast, he's tricky, he's a little guy, but he's like a motor mouse. He never stops. He'll be so much fun to watch. Put a big smile on your face, he does me. 4
goals, 2 assists last year for Arboleda. For Real Monarchs, they're a team that has a mixture of MLS experience and young talent. And you look up top, Chandler Hoffman, 31 goals the last 3 seasons in the USL.
I don't care what level you're playing at, what league you're playing in. 31 goals in 3 seasons, that's amazing. And I'm sure he's going to be a handful tonight.
We are getting set. It's the opening night of the 2017 USL season. T2 and the Real Monarchs coming up next.
We've raised the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars. Innovative technology and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
Anderson is getting set for T2 and the Real Monarchs from Providence Park in downtown Portland, Oregon. It's the opening game of the 2017 USL season. A nice, cool night here, Willie. Perfect conditions for soccer out on the field.
It is. It's a beautiful night. It's a little bit chilly, so they'll have to get running around pretty quick. Well, I hope they're as excited as I am. It's the opener. How good is that?
You go through weeks and weeks of preseason and finally you get to play an opponent and it means something.
Oh yeah, they've been back 6 or 7 weeks. I'm sure they're all chaffing at the bit to get started.
How, for this first match of the season, how long does it take to get into a flow, and are you really match fit in game 1?
No, you're not. It takes about 3 or 4 games, and you're not game fit, you're fit. But the thing that you lose when you're not fit is your touch, your sharpness, and you're going after about 10 minutes these guys are going to be really tired.
T2 in the green and gold, Real Monarchs in the white and navy. There is Arboleda, 4 goals, 2 assists last season, and like you said, Will, in the opening, he can just absolutely fly up and down the field.
Yeah, he's going to be a delight to watch.
T2 will be working left to right here in the first half. Armando Villarreal, our referee, and we are underway from Providence Park. Both teams playing a 4-2-3-1. Batista playing a long ball down the line. I know one of the things, Will, you're anxious to see these two center backs for T2 both stand at 6'5".
Yeah, you know, it's not the norm usually. You know, you maybe have one in the whole league. The Timbers have two, 6'4" and 6'5". Monster men. They're going to be a great asset on corners and free kicks for the Timbers, and they should be great defensively too.
Just underway. Monarchs with a throw in at midfield. T2 last season, 12-14-4, just missed the playoffs. They were in a tie for 8th, but lost on a goal differential tiebreaker to Orange County. This Real team, improvement 10-14-6 last season. After their first year in the USL, they were just 7-13-8. There's Bijev flipping one into the middle. T2 with the early possession, the ball played out on the wing. Chance for T2 to attack. Now we'll go out. Our first corner of the game goes to T2.
Yeah, they've opened up pretty brightly. Now, you know, this should be a great opportunity for the Timbers. They got the two big guys going up top. 6'4" and 6'5". You know, who's going to mark them? Just look at them. Amazing. They should attack everything that comes into the box.
Renito will take this corner kick in swinger, cleared out as he tried to play it short. And Real looks to counter the other way. Opening moments of this match, second minute, were scoreless. First game of the year for both teams. Pretty good preseason for the Monarchs. 3 wins, just 1 loss. And now some space along the near sideline. Ball played back into the middle. Velasquez, who has that MLS experience, out on the wing. Moberg, who played 6 games for T2 back in 2015, sending one down the sideline that time. As Minter was looking to make a run. Ball just inside the T2's 18, but worked out along the back. Minter had 3 goals in preseason for this Real team, as Lewis looks to work it out of the back and playing it toward midfield. A chance for the Monarchs. They played toward the top of the 18, controlled by RSL, and it swung out to the near sideline. Hoffman, the intended target that time, cleared back toward midfield. Here's Augie Williams looking to control, but once again, the Monarchs get it right back. So some early possession here, Willie, for the Monarchs.
Yeah, you know, they kind of fill in the midfield in. You can look at them now. They've got the guy up front, Chandler Hoffman, but look at them. You've got 2 guys pushing up right away. They like playing 3 up on the guy on the far right as well.
Yeah, both teams listed as 4-2-3-1s, but
yeah.
You sometimes it morphs really quickly into a 4-3-3.
Yeah,
when you're in the attack.
Yeah. I think they're both pretty much the same system. They're just going to, you know, keep morphing into different systems all the time.
Adams trying to play between 2 defenders, one back by T2. Nice work defensively that time by Lewis. Here's Hoffman. Quick one-touch with Velasquez. Made 12 appearances for New York City FC in their inaugural season back in 2015. Some space on the far wing for Moberg. Monarchs attacking right to left. Ball played down the line for Hoffman.
You know,
here in the 4th.
If you play for New York, you must be fairly good. So I would think it could be a standout.
There's our first whistle and foul of the game. This time Granito got taken down. Tomas, who played for Swope Park, and 3 appearances for El Salvador in the 2013 U20 World Cup. Let's see, this foot got in there.
You know, I'm just trying to figure out what kind of systems they're playing, and everybody's all over the place. You know, it's the first game opener. Everybody's trying to figure everything out. So maybe I'll give them 5 minutes to settle down and really get into some kind of system.
Scoreless here in the 5th minute. Still looking for our first good scoring chance. T2 did have an early corner kick, but it was cleared away by the Monarchs. Here's some pressure. Ball played back to Putna, the goalkeeper. And a little heavy touch there. Lucky to get it away. That time, Bijev was closing down along the near sideline with Bodily. Here's Hoffman, a quick one-touch. Now some space for the Monarchs. Adams going to play to the near sideline on a quick switch. Monarchs working up the field. Hoffman the intended target that time, read well by T2 as they look to regroup out of the back. Arboleda, a little bit of room. Nice nutmeg, Arboleda. Crossing over to Real territory. Here's Augie, space down the right flank. T2 pushing players forward. Jimenez, who played with Sapri's second team last year. Better movement here by T2.
Yeah, Arboleda, if they can get him the ball a lot, he'll make things happen. He'll open spaces for them. Right now, the Monarchs are really bossing the midfield. And when T2 do get the ball, they're getting so many people behind it, the Monarchs are. So it's going to be a tough night. But, people are going to get tired pretty fast, so that should make a difference, I would think.
Scoreless here in the 7th minute. Opening match of the 2017 USL season. Long ball player over top. Hoffman trying to knock it out wide that time. And T2 win it back. Here's Jimenez under some pressure. Jimenez loses it. Lakowicki. Monarchs working down the near sideline. Minter has it taken away. Arboleda, time and space toward midfield. Good ball into the middle. Bijev playing it out wide. Good switch here by T2. Bodily inside the 18, a chance toward the byline, trying to play it across, and he earns the second corner of the match for T2.
That was good from T2. That was way better. They got it wide. I think that's going to be the secret if they can get it wide early.
There's Mike Pecky in his first year with the Monarchs. 2 years with New York Red Bulls, where he won the Supporter Shield back in 2013.
He must have some tremendous experience. I just wonder how he feels when he's sitting here tonight and there's not a big crowd,
Granito playing it in, poked away. Ball comes out the other side. Obviously some controversy with RSL firing Jeff Cassar just after 3 matches.
That amazes me. I don't understand that. 3 games. Give a guy a chance.
Throw in here for T2 scoreless in the 8th minute. Tom Kolker, Willie Anderson, excited for the opening match of the 2017 USL season. Jimenez playing it toward the line. Bijev, third corner of the game here. This one from the near sideline, so this will be to Puda's left, first one of the match. Now, a couple times here, Willie, they tried to go toward that near post.
Yeah, they should be aiming for the penalty spot because we got a 6'4" guy and a 6'5" guy
and a
just
6'3" guy.
There. Yeah,
all in the middle.
Look at that. The Man Mountains, they should just whack it in there with some pace on it and let them fight for it.
Granito, outswinger, back post. Bodley will try and track it down. He pinches it out wide. T2 still on the attack. Augie. Well, swung in toward the top of the 18, cleared away by the Monarchs back toward midfield, but won right back by T2. Both teams look at control. We're scoreless here in the 9th minute. And now it's the Monarchs on the attack with Charlie Adams. They regroup along the back line. Hoffman back deep. The ball's on that far side of the field. Here's Adams.
I don't think the game's calmed down yet. Everybody's come out. First game of the season, they're all crazy. So glad to be there. They just haven't. They're all so wound up. They haven't calmed down yet.
Charlie Adams. Monarchs attacking down the right flank. Good ball for Velasquez. Edge of the 18. Velasquez looking to get toward the byline and make a run. Velasquez still with it. Whips it in. Ball comes out the other side. It's knocked down the volley. The shot off the post. And our first good look at the game for the Monarchs. And that one off the post. And it's going to go out for a corner kick.
That was great play. It was a great cross. Keeper just about got his hand on it. And the guy, he hit it pretty well for first time. Yeah.
Minter had 3 goals in the preseason, so he proved already he can score.
That was pretty close. He just didn't quite catch it right.
Here's Charlie Adams will take the corner. This will be to Kendall McIntosh's right. Ball hangs in the air. It's a shot. It's headed, and it's down, and it's in. And the Monarchs with the first goal of the match on the corner kick set piece. They lead at 1-0. James Moberg gets his first of the season. A former product of the Timbers U23 squad. He had 6 appearances in 2015. This ball just kind of hung in the air.
You know, to me, that's so hard to believe. We got these tall, huge guys at the back, and none of them gets a head on it. I mean, the guy who scores, he's about 5'10". I mean, somebody's got to pick him up.
1-0 Real. In the 11th minute, Moberg made 8 appearances last year for the Monarchs, a product of the University of Washington. And another chance here as the ball's played into the 18. McIntosh way off his line, pokes it out of the area, and we go the other way. A good ball forward. Arboleda is going to have some time and space. Racing in toward the middle, fighting off one defender, still with it, splits another. And finally a third comes over to close him out. Some contact there, but there is the speed of Arboleda.
Yeah, he's going to be key tonight. He's going to get him back in the game if anybody is. You know, he's got some room out there, it looks like, so.
1-0 Monarchs. Taking advantage of their first corner of the game. T2 has already had 3. Augie working toward the corner flag. 2 defenders closing, and the 4th corner upcoming here for T2. So let's see if they can find one of those big targets.
Well, you know, if they can put a good corner and them guys fight for it, they have a heck of a chance. So
Tomas Granito surveying his options on this corner here in the 12th minute. T2 trails 1-0. Granito with the top of the 6 headed out immediately by the Monarchs. I've had trouble clearing that first line of defense on these corners.
Yeah, you
early
know,
on.
it's such a waste because you got such, you know.
It's a long shot from distance, not a bad idea that time. That time Bijev finding some space from about 22 yards out.
You know, anytime he gets the ball within 30 yards, I just, yeah, look at that. One thing on his mind, yeah, it just bent the wrong way. But he, you know, anything from 30 yards, he should be taking a pop at it.
Well, I got to imagine for a lot of these young guys, 10 new players on this squad, some of them making their debuts tonight, there's probably a lot of nerves here in the opening first 15 minutes of a match.
Oh, yeah, you know, you can tell everybody's ultra nervous. You know, everybody's too wired up. It takes a while. I mean, you know, and they're playing it, you know, playing in this beautiful stadium. Some of these, you know, some of these players most probably never have played in a place like this before. Monarchs, it's got to be exciting.
Working down the near flank, they lead at 1-0 on a corner kick set piece. Well, you had a pretty good debut.
Yeah.
Who did you play for? I've heard of them.
Manchester United.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're a small team over in England.
I was frightened to death.
How old were you when you made your debut for Man U?
16.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
And you were telling me before you didn't find out till just a few hours before that match.
Yeah, they were smart, you know. They knew that I'd be frightened to death, and they didn't tell me till about 4 hours before game time. So I didn't have too long to panic.
1-0 here. The Monarchs are on top. James Moberg off a corner kick set piece, and the Monarchs are attacking again right down the middle of the field with Sebastian Velasquez. Armando Villarreal says play on.
You know, that was a great tackle because that guy was in. Here we go.
Arboleda, a little bit of room.
Whoops, see ya.
Trying to get down the near flank, loses the ball. Better defense that time. Lakowicki able to, for the moment, keep pace with Arboleda.
Yeah. I think he was pulling his shirt as well. So.
Orozco will play it back in. Punta.
I think Lewicki's in for a long night.
Yeah. Orozco, who was signed by Chivas USA in 2013, didn't make an appearance but was on their squad. And there's about 4 or 5 guys on this Real team that have MLS experience.
Which, you know, should see them in good stead. You know, they've been here. I think the hard thing for those guys will be playing in front of not a crowd, you know, to get yourself going is hard.
1-0, Real on top. Here's Nick Beasler. Of course, last 2 years with T2 was the 5th overall pick in the 2015 draft out of Notre Dame. So obviously very familiar with the T2 program and system. There are a number of guys on this team for Real that have ties to the Timbers organization. Lakowicki with some room. Thought about it, now trying to slip it in. There's a shot just wide. Not a bad idea, and a good look, good movement from Real. And that time Chandler Hoffman almost made it 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But he's played on, he's wide open. It's a great chance. You would think somebody of his ability would have scored, but, they give him way too much room.
That was a nice feed that time from Lakowicki. 16th minute, Real on top, opening match of the 2017 season. Willie, 3 players for this T2 roster that are actually on loan from the Timbers. So we talk about guys trying to move up and advance to the first team, and it's also a mix of some of the younger guys who are up there getting some experience here and some playing time.
Yeah, and you need it, you can't just sit on a bench for all season. You've got to have games under your belt. I think the hardest thing for them is their attitude, Are they going to have a good attitude about coming down and playing?
Real on the attack again. Minter with some space down the left flank, trying to work on Jimenez. Minter toward the byline, trying to play it across, punched away by McIntosh. Reno hits it over his head, clears it just out of the area, but the Monarchs still on the attack. Lakowicki turning away from some pressure by Arboleda. Looking for Minter. Lakowicki still keeping it, and finally loses it to Granito. And there is a whistle and a foul against the Monarchs. Gonna look at that last play by T2's goalkeeper, Kendall McIntosh.
The guy, that's a great cross, and he just couldn't clear the goalkeeper. So. I haven't mentioned Bijab at all. He hasn't. I don't think he's been in the game for oh, there he is. But they've got to get him going. He's got to be involved more.
So that one shot from distance that had some pretty good pace, but that's been about it. But you're right, we haven't called his name a whole lot here in the first
involved at all.
18 minutes. Bodily. Time, a little miscommunication with Bijev. Now swings it out wide. Bjornathan, veteran of the Northwest from Snohomish, Washington, product of Seattle University. Bodily is a member of Timbers Academy. That time that pass Aaron, it goes back to Real.
Bodley's a good addition to this T2 team. He's all left foot. They play him wide left. He gives him great shape, great outlet for anybody over there. And when he gets it, he can put in a really good ball.
Monarchs with it. Lakowicki out wide. Minter playing it down the line. Adams toward the byline, plays toward the top of the 6, comes out the other side. Bodily in a battle on that far side. Monarchs win it back. Ringa. Possession here from Real. They lead at 1-0 on James Moberg's first of the season on a corner kick set piece on a ball that just hung inside the area, heading it past McIntosh. Velasquez with 2 defenders on him.
The Timbers are the T2 guys are just going to have to get a grip of this game, or it's going to be out of their reach. The Monarchs having all the control, they're winning every loose ball, and they're absolutely annihilating them in midfield. So if they don't get to grips with this pretty soon, they could get 2 or 3 before it's too late.
Minter knocking it down. Jimenez over to cover. Minter, Lakowicki trying to spin away from Arboleda. Little 2-man game. Lakowicki playing it into the box. Hoffman looking to turn, plays it back. Minter feeding it across. Trying to leave it for Velasquez. There's a shot, takes a deflection. And McIntosh there to make the play.
T2, you got to get it together. Come on, guys.
Real team 4-1 in the preseason. Their only loss was their last game to Orange County, but 2 wins over BYU, a 2-1 win over Ventura County, and a 3-2 win over LA Galaxy 2.
Winning games just gives you that confidence. You get in a winning way. It's great.
Here's Minter again. He's got a lot of room down that left side. And the offside flag up.
Well, that would be my only knock about Arboleda. He doesn't get back a lot helping out in defense. He doesn't like to. You know, he's just that kind of player who, like, give me the ball and let me do my stuff. So I think, you know, they will get room down the Monarchs left side, without a doubt.
Well, we see Minter tonight with a lot of room to operate. McIntosh. 1-0. You were just joining us here in the 21st minute. James Moberg off a corner kick set piece, heading it past McIntosh. Has put Real up on the road here. Real's 0-2 all-time in Portland. T2 leads the all-time series 2-1-2. Last year, a 3-1 win for T2 on May 7th. Nico Brett had 2 goals in that game, and a 2-1 loss at Rio Tinto on August 17th. Michael Wicki trying to split a couple defenders, some fancy footwork, slips it through. Minter trying to make a run. That was some nice work.
It was great feet. He went past about 3, did really, really well. You know, the Timbers at the T2 have just got to hang in here. You know, they're under the cosh. They're not doing well at all. They're under a lot of pressure. Don't let them score 2 or 3 or the game will be gone.
Well, last time we had a corner kick, it led to a goal. Here's Adams again. McIntosh's right. Floats it in the air again, back toes. This time, Kendall up. Didn't leave any chance.
No, you know, he's a good goalkeeper. You know, I think he's 5'10", which isn't great for a goalkeeper, but I guess he's got this immense leap.
Super athletic, 40-inch vertical.
Yeah, which is amazing. So, and he's really sharp, he's quick, got great hands, and he's really brave. So, you know, they think highly of him. You know, when I've watched him, he's always been really good. So, he's a good little one.
On loan from the Timbers for tonight's match. He was 8-7-3 last year, a 1.17 goals against average. He was a 2015 co-goalkeeper of the year in the West Coast Conference for Santa Clara. Here comes Real on the attack again. It's Velasquez trying to split 2 defenders in the area. Has it on his right foot, goes down. And again, Armando Villarreal says play on. And he was right on top of it.
The Timbers T2 were lucky there. I mean, gosh.
Lewis.
Get it.
Now a switch to the near side. Arboleda, the intended target. Ball's cleared out, a throw-in for Real as that deflected that time off of Jimenez. Looked like the switch was on there.
Yeah, it was. It was on just for a second, and they took just a little bit too long, and by the time they did it, it was too late.
That one of the biggest things that you have to be able to do to get to the first team is just be able to have that instant recognition of where to place the ball without thinking.
Yeah, you know,
your vision on the field.
Yeah, you watch somebody like Valeri, he doesn't seem to look anywhere, and he's always putting in the right place. It's just, you know, when you go up that level, you've got to have that, like, instinctive feeling about everything. And these guys haven't got it yet. That's why they're at T2.
Throw in here for Jimenez. Played for Saprissa 2 last season. He's 20 years old from Costa Rica. Pitch it forward, that time for Arboleda, slips through. Putna will get it and clear it toward midfield. 1-0. Real on top.
You know, and they're the way better team right now. I mean,
they look a little more organized.
Yeah, the boss in midfield, they're really tight at the back. And they got guys up top who are, you know, taking people on, they're finding space.
Lekowicki again with some room down the left flank, cuts it into the middle. Leaves it for Adams. Here's Minter out wide on the flank. Looking to get it past Jimenez. Goes off of Jimenez. It will be a corner kick. Third one of the game for Real here in the 25th minute. Adams over to take it.
You know what T2 may think of doing is just man mark a couple of their midfielders just for like 5 minutes. Just say, you two sit on them, make sure they don't get the ball, and let's see what we can do. Because right now they're getting creamed in midfield.
Adams to take this. The first one led to our only goal of the match. Headed, knocked down by Hoffman. Chips it back toward goal. McIntosh there to make a play. That time, Chandler Hoffman, the intended target.
He's got really good hands, goalkeeper. Got big hands. He can hold the ball in one hand. That's amazing.
McIntosh last year, 65 saves, had 4 shutouts on the season. Here's Arboleda splitting defenders. That time can't get by the third man. We go the other way. Adams in the middle. Real on the attack. It's pinched forward for Hoffman. Hoffman top of the area. Hoffman takes the shot, punched away. Good reaction from McIntosh. How can T2 kind of get back in the game and stop chasing it so much? There's Hoffman's last attempt.
Yeah, straight at the goalkeeper. They have to just change the system up a little. They're getting really killed in midfield. If it was me, I would mark man to man a couple of their midfield. Yeah.
We have a player down at the other end.
Arboleda.
Looks like Arboleda is down.
I think he had a collision when he was running with the ball.
So not a good sign here for T2 early in this match. Arboleda, who's on loan from the Timbers. 4 goals, 2 assists last season in 25 appearances for T2. He was tied for 3rd on the team in goals.
And he's just a difference maker. He can win your game. So I think he just had like a physical contact with somebody, just ran into them. I think it took the wind out of him.
Take another look here at what led to Arboleda going down. He's trying to split a couple defenders.
See, he's got his head down on the ball, knocks it by him, runs straight into him, and just takes all the wind out of him.
It's like he will be okay.
I would think so.
Shannon Murray on the sideline tonight for T2. Andrew Greger in his 2nd season, but got a red card at the end of last year in the last match. So it is Murray who will be handling the duties tonight for T2. You can see him there having a word.
Yeah, Greger will be a miss for the players because he's a hard taskmaster. And oh, here we go.
Arboleda goes down. Of course, that's Williams got taken down, no call, and Augie's still down. But well, there's a hard tackle as Augie tried to play it into the middle. And for the 2nd time, another player for T2 down. Here's another look.
Yeah, he come from the side. It looked like he got the ball, but he followed through. And
it's another player I know you like a lot, Willie. 4 goals, 1 assist last year. Dynamic up top, just 19 years old, 6'3".
Yeah, when I first watched him, it was like, wow, this kid's got something special. And, he's a big guy. He's great touch. He's quick. He holds the ball up really well. The thing he's got to do now is figure out how to score a little bit more often, because you're a striker. That's what they pay you to do. And if he could add that to his game, he'd be a huge asset.
1-0 here in the 29th minute. Tom Kolker, Willie Anderson, thanks for joining us on Timbers2.com. Opening match of the 2017 USL season. Both these teams were on the outside of the playoffs looking in. T2 was tied for 8th, but lost on a goal differential tiebreaker. That last match of the season was exciting. They were right there till the very end. Just missed out on the playoffs. They're going to get there this year in their 3rd season in USL. And there's a foul. It'll go to Real at midfield. Quickly played down the line for Minter, who's been dangerous tonight. Nods it toward the byline. Around Jimenez, plays it across, looking toward the top of the 18. The volley takes a deflection. No trouble for McIntosh that time.
They're really dangerous down this left-hand side. They're getting a lot of room. And they got some pace there too. And, they're hitting in good balls when they get in those situations, which is a real asset.
Well, skips by Arboleda, trying to get it back. 30th minute. Monarchs are on top. Lead at 1-0. Ball played into the middle by Lekowicki, but nobody there. Here's Andre Lewis, Jamaican Youth International.
I've just been watching, and what the Monarchs are doing really well. They're playing kind of like Liverpool play. They're putting the pressure on the guys who have the ball at the back and making it really hard for them to knock it long or knock it into midfield.
Here's some pressure. Augie trying to get there, and he earns a throw, and good hustle that time by Williams. A deep throw in here for T2. Maybe an opportunity to set something up. Bodley's going to leave it. Bjornathan will come over and take the throw in. Bijev, 3 defenders on him. Can't slip away. Still has it on his right foot. Plays it across.
Corner.
And a corner kick. It's only about the 3rd time we've called Bijev's name here in the first half.
I know, but see that Monarchs did great there. As soon as BJ got the ball, there was 4 players on him. They're working really hard. They're pressurizing them all over the field. So
Granito over to take this corner. Chance to equalize here in the 31st minute. It's an outswinger. Again, back post. No one on the other side. Bjornathan trying to track it down. It's chipped toward midfield. That time Brody almost got there. Second time they tried to go long to the back post, but nobody on the other side for T2.
You know, I don't think he was trying to go long. I just think it was a bad ball.
Flag up as T2 is trying to press forward. He's just hit it with too much pace.
Yeah, you know, the corners have been they haven't been good at all. They're either too long or too short, you know.
There's another look at that offside.
Yeah, a little bit.
Bijev trying to slip. Augie. Putnam playing a long ball deep into T2 territory. Headed forward by Renico Clark. Lakowicki gets a head on it. Velasquez trying to knock it down. Clark playing it forward for Bodley in a battle. And won by T2. Good work by Bodley to hold off the defender. Granito playing it ahead. Arboleda looking to turn. Jimenez down the line. The Costa Rican playing it back for Arboleda. Orozco back to his goalkeeper. Heavy touch that time. Good control though. Jimenez, better movement here from T2. Trying to spin away from traffic. Jimenez turning away from danger. Playing it into the box. Arboleda trying to get there. Well, takes a deflection off an RSL, off a Real player. And a foul. So Orozco down.
I thought he was very unlucky. I thought they both went for the ball together.
There's another look.
Yeah, it's 50-50. You know, both of them had the right to go for it.
1-0, Real on top. James Moberg's first of the season early on. Off a corner kick set piece. Our only goal of the match.
And the Monarchs up to now, they're the better team. They boss midfield. They got a lot of room going down the left-hand side. T2 are not in the game at all, really.
Here's Adams off a turnover, trying to feed it through. A chance here for Hoffman. Can't get to it. It goes out for a corner kick. Another good look that time for Real, right up the middle. And a corner kick here. Ball slipped in. Brody on the other end of that one.
You know, I've been watching the Timbers backline. They're really flat. And when I say flat, they're spread out in a line across the field. And one ball beats them all.
Adams playing this in, and it's headed straight up in the air by Bijev. Knocked down toward the top of the area. Shot blocked that time by Lewis. Bodley looking to go the other way. He goes down. We play on. The ball whipped into the box. Hoffman the intended target. Cleared away by T2. Williams trying to control it. It's loose. Bijev comes away with it. And some room for Bijev. 8 goals, 10 assists last year. And now Bijev, of course, leading USL in assists with 10 last season. Led T2 in both goals and assists. Here's some space for Jimenez. Trying to find Arboleda. Goes through his legs. And again, it's Real with the ball. Minter. Velasquez. There's about a good 4-minute portion early on where T2 had control. They were moving the ball around, but if you look at the possession numbers, Got to be 70-30 at this point.
At least.
For Real.
Monarchs are doing great at pressurizing all over the field. Look, they've got 3 guys up front now. And look at this. Look at the left side. Wide open, you know.
Here it comes toward the near side. Real in the white and navy. Orozco will play it back in. You mentioned, Willie, the fact that that Real is really pressuring the back line for T2, just trying to get away from any ball. There's a long ball played over the top. Hoffman trying to get there. McIntosh out of the 18. He will clear it away. What's the best way? How can you alleviate all that pressure that's being applied? You just need to get more people back?
Well, no, if they're pressurizing your back four, that means your midfield should have a little bit of room. So the back four, you know, they've got to get it as soon as they can back into the midfield.
37th minute. Real Monarchs are on top 1-0.
But, you know, that's easier said than done. I mean, when you're under pressure, you know, that's what makes the game hard.
Minter trying to spin away from traffic. It'll go out for a goal kick. It's a quick start to the 2017 season. T2 will be at Swope Park in Kansas City on Wednesday, then at Seattle on Sunday. Their next home match will be Saturday, April 8th against Orange County. There's 3 games in the span of a week.
Well, you know, they need it. You know, they'll need 3 games to get fit. And, you know, looking at tonight so far, they don't look that sharp to me. So maybe they just need another couple of games under their belt.
Brody, some room down the right flank. They're going to work on Lewis. Brody still with it, whips it in, looking back post. Hoffman trying to get there. Another corner kick here for Real Monarchs. Let's see who the intended target is this time. They got the goal with Moberg. Charlie Adams to take it. Toward the top of the 18, it's headed down and goes just wide. Oh, another good look, a wide open look in the area that time, and it was Orozco.
Well, before the game, if you would have told me they kept getting free headers from corners, I would have said not a chance because of the size we have in our back four, but they're winning every header.
Adams another one, the ball on the deck. Batista gets a piece of it. Bodily. Running toward midfield.
Oh.
And it's a throw in for Real.
That was a foul for me. The 48 deliberately tried to obstruct Bodily. So.
And that was Minter working back. Clearly got in his path. Bodily, a youngster, just 19 years old, a member of the Timbers Academy. 16 appearances last year for T2. 4 goals and assists, was tied for 3rd in goals. Here's a ball down the line for Minter. Renico Clark will get there and just let it roll out for a goal kick. 1-0. Real. T2 still looking for their best chance was Bijev, a long shot from about 22 yards out that had some good pace behind it but went wide.
You know, that's their only chance, I think. You know what I would do right now? I'd put Bodley on the right and Arboleda on the left. Because Bodley will defend better for you, and he might be able to block up all this side. And Arboleda might get some more room on the right side, because right now it isn't working for them. So you've got to try something.
The other advantage, too, is if you have Bodley cutting in from the right, then he can take that shot as he's cutting in because he's left-footed.
Yeah, and he's going to work harder than Arboleda. You know, and they're not causing a lot of trouble down the right.
There's
it's all
a foul.
Down the left.
Yep. Most of the play tonight has been on this near sideline. There's a foul on Minter.
I'd switch them for the last 6 minutes and see if it just helps out a little.
There's Sebastian Velasquez, 50 games in Major League Soccer with Real Salt Lake and New York City FC.
You know, he's looking pretty useful. You know, he's getting up top early, and his left foot looks really good. And he's a feisty thing. He wants to fight everybody. Now look at see the pressure there. There was 4 of them on it.
Space for Bijev to cross over into Real territory. Trying to play it through. The ball takes a deflection. Williams trying to get there. Button off his line to collect it. There was some time and space for Bijev once they broke that initial pressure.
they got the ball at the back. They got put under pressure. They knocked it through into midfield really fast. That gave the midfield more room. Bijay got the ball, and you can go from there. They got to do it a little bit quicker.
1-0. Real on top. James Moberg off a corner kick set piece. Opening goal of the 2017 season for Real. Coming off a campaign last year of 12, 14, and 4. They were 8 and 9 last year in 1-goal affairs. Right now up 1-0. And again, it's out wide for Lekawicki, but can't control it. A little bit of a heavy ball that time from Velasquez. So it'll go out for a T2 throw-in. Menez up to take it. Winging down the line looking for Williams. Orozco can't control it. Another throw-in. T2 will keep working it down the near sideline. You can see Mike Pecky in your picture in his first year with Real. 2 years with the Red Bulls, 82 wins, including the 2013 Supporter Shield. 2014, his Red Bull squad fell to New England in the Eastern Conference Finals, and he was let go after that.
You know, he's doing a really good job tonight because his team's looking really good.
Well, cleared away that time by Batista. Talking to Andrew Greger at training this week, he really likes Batista a lot. A young kid, a really raw talent at 6'5". Didn't start playing soccer till really late, but he's a guy who they have a lot of hopes for.
Yeah, you know, when they're that raw and you can, you know, mold them into what you'd like them to be and maybe make them really professional. So, and he's got the size. I mean, I think he's 6'5". So, you know, he's got all that going for him. Could be a great opportunity for him.
One of several players who spent time with the first team in preseason down in Tucson. 7 players from this T2 squad that were down there, and that's just great experience for these young guys to be around the first team for that long of a period.
You know what? It's a great experience. What it does for you, it makes you want it more, and it makes you realize how hard it is when you get there.
Bijev looking for Arboleda. Chance here. Arboleda takes the shot. Just wide. Finally, a little bit of room for Bijev to create in the middle, and Arboleda, there is the right leg. Didn't miss by much.
No, he's gonna. Yeah, it's a great shot. He should be aiming for the far post, but you know he didn't have that much time, and the guy was blocking off the far post, I think. But you know, for me, if we could get BJ going, getting Arboleda going, we can create something. Right now, we're not creating a lot.
44th minute, late stages of the first half. Lewis trying to work through traffic, earns a throw-in. James Moberg, only goal of the match. Made 6 appearances in 2015 with the Timbers U23 squad. Had 1 goal.
You know, if I'm T2, I'm going to be happy we go in at only 1 down, hopefully.
Here's Adams splitting traffic. Good work that time by Batista, winning it back. Now out room for Lewis to operate. Crosses over to Real territory down the line. Arboleda trying to get there. There's the pace of Arboleda. Great job to get to it. Trying to whip it in, and he earns a corner. There is the speed of Victor Arboleda.
Yeah, it could have been a better ball, but
let's see.
We got a corner.
Let's see if Granito can get this one in the area.
You know, if he doesn't, I wouldn't let him take any more.
Thought about playing it short that time. Tomas over the ball. There'll be an outswinger. Ball back post again. That time Batista the intended target. T2 control it. Bodily. Jornathan. Renico Clark. The flag up.
Oh, that was a good move.
Big fella getting up there.
One big fella to another.
That's right. Batista 6'5" to 6'5".
Yeah, he took it really well. Look at that. Oh.
Just offside.
Like a striker.
Renico Clark, 14 appearances last year for T2. On loan from the Timbers for this match. Missed a lot of last year because of an ACL tear the previous season. Several appearances for Jamaica's U20 squad. We have 1 minute of stoppage time here in the first half. Here is Minter. Some space again on that left wing. He's had it tonight. Whips it in, headed away by Batista. Arboleda. There goes Arboleda. Racing down the sideline. That's got to be a card.
Oh.
Well, no doubt about that one. Nick Beasler just all over. Former T2 player.
I think there was about 3 of them trying to grab him around the neck. Look.
It's a good tackle by Beasler. Former number 5 pick in the 2015 draft by the Timbers out of Notre Dame. So
Wasn't he an NFL player?
Looked like one there.
He looked like an NFL
I don't know if he played any football at Notre Dame. Here's a chance, though, in stoppage time. Granito over it. Real setting up a 3-man wall. Button is shading that wall a little bit to his left. Granito whipping it in on the deck.
You know, that's such a shame. I mean.
And we reach halftime at Providence Park. Real Monarchs on top thanks to Jay Moberg's first goal of the season. They lead at 1-0 here at halftime. We'll take a break, come back with the highlights and the stats. It's Real on top 1-0 over T2 at the end of 1.
We've raised the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars. Innovative technology and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
And welcome into the USL Network. I'm TJ Reeves. It's opening weekend, and we have President Jake Edwards with us to talk about the beginning of the 2017 season. Jake, welcome. It's only been a few months since the USL Cup was raised in New York. Very busy off-season. One of your biggest stories, though, is elevation to Division II status. Tell us more about the importance of that.
Yeah, thanks, TJ. It's been a very busy off-season, as you said. Short off-season that gets shorter every year. A lot of good things happening. One of the big stories in the off-season was the sanctioning of the USL as Division II. This is a major component of a long-term strategic plan called Destination 2020. We embarked on this a little over 4 years ago. And a component of that was raising the level of operation and sophistication of the USL as a league and as the whole enterprise, working with all the clubs to make sure we have the right ownership, we have the right facilities, we have a sufficient level of operation at each club, and build it so that it has to be as good as or better as a second division level.
2017 is also another productive year for expansion. You're bringing 3 new expansion teams in this season, as well as several new ownership groups with existing teams. What is the overall league strategy on expansion, and will we see more of it soon?
We will. So we are expanding always with a national focus, but looking how we regionalize the competition.
We have several new stadiums opening this season. I know that has been a big goal of the United Soccer League.
It's a huge initiative for us. It's been a game changer for a number of other leagues when they focused on improving the quality of the buildings. For us, it's about delivering an authentic match day experience for the fan and providing the players a very professional environment to play in.
As you start this season, it is opening weekend. The competition level is getting stronger. You have an influx of young, talented players from the United States and other places, also veteran players that you're bringing back. How do you feel about the level of competition as this season begins?
I would say this is probably going to be the most challenging season for the teams to compete in this league. We've got a really exciting blend of talent in our league now. We've got some world-class players coming in, players like Joe Cole here in Tampa, Omar Bravo, legend out of the Mexican team playing for our team in Phoenix, Sean Wright Phillips also. So we've got players that have played in the Premier League and in the international levels. We've got a core group of professionals, of veterans that have played in the MLS, USL, overseas. We've got 70 players now in the league that play for full senior international squads. So we've got a good base of really high quality and in some cases world-class talent, but we've got this really exciting group of young players who are going to be the next superstars of the national teams or of MLS, let's say, in the future.
Jake, thanks very much. Good luck with the start to the season. If you want to see the complete interview, you can go to uslsoccer.com. The season underway. Thanks for being with us.
Welcome back to Providence Park, everyone. Tom Colker alongside Willie Anderson. 1-0. The Real Monarchs on top of T2. James Moberg's goal in the 10th minute, the difference. And Willie, as we welcome you back into Providence Park, this first half, a tough one for T2. Really, Real controlled a lot of the tempo and the pace of that first half.
Yeah, I just thought they were the better team all around. They bossed the midfield. They had tons of room down the left-hand side, which they looked really dangerous at. I think that players you needed to get into the game for T2 just didn't. Bijev, Arboleda, they just didn't get into the game. So I think this half they've got to figure out how to stuff up the left-hand side, how to get the ball out of the back faster into midfield and get going.
How can they get a guy like Bijev going in the second half?
They've got to boss midfield a bit more. He needs the ball, but if T2 haven't got it, he isn't going to get it. So
let's take a look at our first half highlights and some good opportunities early on for this Real team. And they came early and often. And here's Sebastian Velasquez with it down the right wing. 50,
he does really well here. It's a great cross. Great cross. And the guy's unlucky. He just gets over it a little bit and miskicks it. So
Chase Minter tried that side volley. He had 3 goals in the preseason.
Yeah, that was a really good chance.
Now here comes the goal. Corner kick for Real, and a ball that just hangs in the air.
Oh, with the size that T2 has, that is it's a disgrace to let guy as big as me, 5'8", 5'10", gets his head on it and scores, and we've got 6'4", 6'5", 6'3" guys at the back. So
Here's a chance for Bijev. Shot from distance, got good pace on it, went just wide.
You know, if you could get him anywhere around 30 yards outside goal, he can come up with something magical.
Let's take a look at our first half stats. Real on top, and you can see big advantage in shots 8-3. What stands out to you there, Willie?
Well, it's the shots and shots on goal. You know, they just 8-3, and we're the home side, and four on goal. You know, you're living by the skin of your teeth if they're hitting shots and getting 4 of them on goal. So, you know, I think we were lucky to go in just 1 down, and hopefully they can do something in the locker room that's going to change things up.
And so you think if we get the midfield more involved, that will create space for Arboleda, Bodley, and Augie up top?
They've got to figure that out. I mean, they're going to get pressured. The back 4 are going to get pressured. When they get the ball, they've got to get her into midfield faster. It'll give midfield more room, and then you got to get, you know, the wide Bodley, Arboleda, and you got to get Bijev involved. I mean, he can make, you know, he can win the game for you out of nothing.
Well, we're getting set here for the second half. We'll take one more timeout. We'll see if T2 can come back. They trail 1-0. It's the opening match of the 2017 USL season. Real on top of T2, 1-0. Second half coming up next. Welcome back, everyone. We are at Providence Park in downtown Portland, Oregon. The Real Monarchs on top of T2, 1-0 as we get set to start the second half opening match of the 2017 USL season. And it is Real on top 1-0, the goal by James Moberg in the 10th minute. A cool, crisp evening here in downtown Portland as you see Blake Bodley had some nice runs in that first half, but still looking for his first chance of the game. A youngster is just 19 years old, had 4 goals last year for T2. But it'll be Real to start with the ball, operating left to right. Sebastian Velasquez will get it underway. Look like we have any changes for either side to start the second half. As Armando Villarreal gets it ready, and we are underway in the second half from Providence Park. Immediate long ball played down the left flank. Minter the intended target. No reason why they wouldn't go right back to him. He had a lot of the ball in the first half.
You know, I think this first 10 minutes is big for T2. You got to stamp their impression on the game.
Bjornathan clearing it out of the area. Adams pushing it back out wide. Minter now on the flank. Lekowecki making a run. Minter still with it. Lekowecki looking to turn that time. Jimenez wins that battle, clears it out. It'll be a throw in for Real.
It's like the first half all over again. We're going down the left.
Minter looking to turn. Under some pressure from Jimenez. Here's Adams with it toward the byline. Keeps it in play. Now whips it in. Headed out that time by Batista. Real still controlling. Beasler has it taken off his foot. Roscoe gets it back to Beasler. A little give and go. 2-man game. Now it's pushed out wide. A chance for Real to play down the line. And cleared out for a corner kick. That time Bjornathan there to make sure it just goes out for a corner.
You know, he did really well. The guy was right behind him. If he, you know, he couldn't take a chance on letting it go by, and he was really calm, and his control was great just to knock it wide like that. He did really well.
First corner here of the second half. Adams over to take it. McIntosh's left. That's how they got their goal in the 10th minute. Corner kick set piece. This one whipped in. Takes a bounce. It's down and it's in the net. 2-0 Real. Nick Beasler. And his return to Portland makes it 2-0 as that ball took a bounce in the box. And Beasler there to put it away.
Yeah, it's a good corner. It's not a great corner. The guy just wanted it a little bit more than the defender. Watch him as he just goes for it. Gets a lucky touch on, and there he is. Bingo. 2-0. Tough game now.
Beasler, 50 appearances for T2 between the 2015 and 16 seasons. The number 5 overall pick in the 2015 draft out of Notre Dame. Helped lead Notre Dame to the 2013 College Cup. And 2-0 just like that, Real. Bjornathan. Williams trying to split a couple defenders. Batista playing it into the middle. Good ball. Lewis some room in the center circle. Good switch here by T2 to the far side of the field. Jimenez can't control it though. And it's knocked out for a throw-in for Real.
You know, that started to look pretty good. They got it. Good possession in midfield and got it wide right, but his pass right was not the greatest. Good opportunity to move up.
Batista. Granito back deep to receive the ball. They'll play a long ball down the sideline. Looking for Jimenez. Goes out. It'll be a throw-in. There may have been some contact there between Jimenez and a player for Real. It's like a wiki. Appears to be okay, so it'll be a throw in here for Jimenez. Ball whipped into the box. No trouble that time. Unable to control it. 50th minute. Real on top. 2-0. T2 will be at Swope Park, Kansas City on Wednesday, then at Seattle on Sunday, before they return home April 8th. Next home match against Orange County SC. 7 o'clock start. There's Mike Pecky.
I'm just trying to see if T2 have kind of changed up anything or moved anybody around, but it doesn't look like. Looks like they're just still playing the same way they were in the first half.
Koringa looking to whip it in. Velasquez in a battle. Good work that time. Granito comes away with it and then gets bumped off the ball. Williams. Real says play on. Velasquez intercepts that pass. He's working hard and then gets taken down. Hard work rate that time by Sebastian Velasquez. And Granito a little slow to get up on the other end.
Yeah, it's some tackles going in. You know, that's a foul. Got away with it. You know, the Monarchs are not exactly being gentlemen about anything.
Velasquez turns, shoots, and over top of the crossbar.
I think when you get 2-0 up, you know, you get really cocky and confident, and you mouth off at people and you knock them around a bit. So this is a really good test for T2. You know, what kind of character have you got? Are you going to fight for it, or are you just going to lay down and die?
And the average age of this team just 20 years old against a much more experienced Real team. 5 players with legit Major League Soccer experience. Here they are on the attack again. It's Minter playing it down the line for Velasquez. McIntosh there to call off Renico Clark.
You know, and it looks like that. It looks like, you know, they got older, experienced players, and, you know, T2 are all these young guys running around, not kind of figuring out where they should be.
Williams the intended target. Well, takes a deflection. Loki can't control it. Here's Arboleda down the right flank. Victor looking to work 1v1. Good move toward the byline, trying to play it across, and he earns a corner kick. Good one-on-one attacking that time from Victor Arboleda.
Oh, please, please, please put in a good corner. Come on.
Granito will take this one from the far post. 5 players in the block for T2.
That's better.
This one whipped in and it goes just wide as it's headed. That one a much better ball.
That
in
was
though.
a way better cross. He must have heard us. He must have been listening to us.
Let's see who got that one. Renico Clark.
It's better.
First good look of the second half for T2.
You know, get Arboleda the ball and just get out of his way. Let him do his magic and try and get us back into this game.
53rd minute, Real on top 2-0. Opening match of the 2017 USL season. Talk about the success of guys going from T2 up to the first team. We've already seen it this year. Marco Farfan made his debut at LA against the Galaxy, just 18 years old, a local product out of Portland. He was in the 18 tonight for the Timbers, and that's what you want to see is guys moving up.
You know, I think it's a win-win for everybody, especially when he's a local kid. You know, he goes to high school in Gresham. You know, imagine what it's like for Farfan going back to school. You know, he plays with the Timbers on TV one day, and the next day he's back in class.
I asked him if any of his friends had no idea that he was made his debut in Major League Soccer over the weekend. He said a couple. That'd be a good excuse for not turning in homework.
Oh,
right? Sorry, I was a little busy in LA.
Yeah, I think he'd get away with it.
Yeah, I think you get a pass on that one.
But, you know, I look and I think, how proud of his family, though. It must be the greatest thing for them as well.
Well, like you said, a kid who's been part of the Timbers Academy and program for a while. Here's a chance. Bijet from distance. Correction, that's Granito as it blocked. Real looking to go the other way. Here's some time and space along the near sideline for Brody. Andrew Brody cutting it in toward the top of the 18, trying to play it across. Takes a deflection off of Lewis. Adams into the box. There's a whistle and a foul. It's just outside the area. Wow. Look at the spot Armando Villarreal is standing.
You know, I think the referee got it right. I think we were lucky, but I think he got it right.
Here's another look at it.
Yeah,
right on the edge.
Right. Could have gone either way. Whoops. Wow, that was close.
So this is literally from the edge of the 18. McIntosh setting up the wall. It'll be 4 players. Where would you try to put this one if you're Adams?
You know, he's left-footed, so he's going to put it to the goalkeeper's left in that top corner if he can. So the left of the goalkeeper. He's going to try and bend it over the wall, get it to come down.
Plays it straight through, and McIntosh right there. Jornathan. That pass intercepted. Goringa. Velasquez. Velasquez cutting it in the middle with the left foot. It's 2-0. Real on top. Moberg in the first half, Beasler in the second, both off of corner kick set pieces. Here's a ball down the line. Velasquez going to get there. Holds it up along the end line. Whips it in, looking back post. Not knocked down. We go the other way. Jimenez pushing it out. Bodily with some room, chipping it down the line. Bijev trying to get there. And a nice sliding tackle defensively that time. Orozco there before Bijev could get to it. He's a little slow to get up.
You know, I think they put Bodily on the right. On the
They
left.
heard you.
Why not?
Mix it up.
Yeah. It's not working too well the other way. Nothing to lose.
Bijev spinning out of traffic. Led USL last year, 10 assists. Working a 2-man game, a nice give and go. Bodily trying to push it across. And read by the Monarchs. We go the other way. A chance for Real to break. Velasquez all kinds of space down the near sideline. Now he'll slow it up. Going to whip it in. Jimenez got ahead on a good work by the right back to get back. And here is Shaquille Jimenez. Played for Saprissa 2 last year. He's 20 years old from Costa Rica. Renito, a quick touch. Batista. Batista spinning away from traffic. Renito. Clark.
You know, that's way better. Play it around at the back and then get it into the middle as fast as you can.
Arboleda. Trying to dribble through traffic, looking to slip it to Bijev. Way back toward midfield. Brody. Down the line. Velasquez. Velasquez still with it on his left foot.
You know, the game's starting to open up now, and I think the reason for that is everybody's getting tired. The game's starting to get to them.
Maybe that'll create some opportunities here for T2. Jornathan.
You know, but I've been really impressed with the Monarchs. They look really solid. The system works for them. They pressure you all over the place. They remind me a lot of Liverpool, only they wear white and Liverpool wear red. But yeah, they look a good team for me. They look way ahead of T2 for an opener.
What specifically is the comparison to Liverpool? Is it the pressure?
Yeah, you know, if you watch when the Timbers back 4 get the ball, the Monarchs have 3 or 4 guys rushing at them, putting them under pressure, and back 4 people don't like that. They like a lot of time on the ball to do what they like with. Now look, he's pressuring them. So it just makes it harder, and what it does, it stops the back 4 giving the ball to midfield.
Arboleda with some time and space, pushing it down the line. Here's a chance for T2. It's whipped into the box and cleared out. It'll be a corner kick for T2. Orozco getting back there to clear it out.
You know, at the last 5 minutes, I think T2 are looking better.
This will be Granito to take it. His last one was his best corner of the game. Clark got a header, just put it wide. See who the intended target is this time. Chance here for T2 in the 60th minute. Granito whips it in. That time Bijev tried to volley it down. Bjornathan with it toward the byline. Trying to play it back post. Ball hangs, comes out the other side. Augie tracks it down. Granito. Better possession here from T2. Well played toward the top of the 18. We go the other way. Chance for the counter for Real. Here's Velasquez on the ball. 3-on-3 opportunity. Now he'll slow it up. You're right, though. Well, this game really has opened up both ways. Karinga just going to slow it down for a minute. Moberg, who got the first goal of the match. Both goals by Real tonight off corner kicks. James Moberg in the first half, Nick Beasler in the second. Here's Velasquez. Velasquez on a couple give and goes. Adams. Ball slipped through. Ball played across. Cleared out that time by Batista. Adams knocks it back down. RSL still attacking Minter. Playing it across. Here's Arboleda. Good move by Arboleda. Time and space now on Real's side of the field. In the middle, Bijev. Whips it near side. Bodily. Edge of the 18, left wing toward the byline, playing it across. Well, it's cleared straight up in the air. Now finally out of the 18. End-to-end action. Real come away with it.
You know, I really like Velasquez. For me, he's running the game for the Monarchs right now. He's all over the place. Nobody's picking him up. He's free in the middle again because, you know, he's not playing any set position. Looks like he can play anywhere he likes. He's getting a lot of the ball. He's got great feet, and his left foot's really good. So
he's the 36th overall pick in the 2012 draft by RSL. Here he is on the ball again. Looking to play it into the middle that time for Hoffman. One back by T2. Andre Lewis trying to get there, has to take it off his foot, and a chance here for Real. Beasler looking to slip Hoffman again. Good work that time by Renico Clark. Bijev in a foot race. Bijev trying to take it off of Orozco. He does momentarily. Putna there to just clear it away. Good hustle that time by Bijev.
Yeah, look, you know, I think if T2 can get a goal, they have a chance to get back in this game. They're getting back in the game more and more each, you know, all the time. I think just everybody's really tired, so it's really helping T2 out, I think.
Well, the first sub of the game, it's going to be Minter, who's created all kinds of trouble on that left side. And coming in is Daniel Haber. Haber, 7 goals last year for Whitecaps 2. Led the NCAA in scoring in 2012, had 18 goals and 7 assists at Cornell. And he's on for Minter. That's a good night work for Chase Minter.
It is. I thought he was really good.
Here's that last chance for Real. You can see Batista just got his foot on it to clear it off the line there. And a corner kick here for T2. Granito over to take this one in the 64th minute.
That's better.
Headed straight up in the air that time by Real. Knocked down. Williams wins it back for T2. Jimenez plays it down the line for Granito. The ball's going to hang. Tomas. Cleared away by Real. Knocked back out wide by Jimenez. The ball skips through. Putna off his line. He'll collect it. Well, the crosses have certainly been better here by Granito in the second half. There's a shot and a goal off the turnover. A mistake at the back. And it's a new game. 2-1. Well, just like that, T2 comes to life here in the second half in the 65th minute. So we take another look. Orozco just not awake, and Augie Williams gets his first of the season. How about that?
The goalkeeper, you know, he's passing it. The guy's walking away from him, hasn't got his eye on the ball, hits him on the back of the foot. Took it really well, though, Williams. I like that. Cool.
Augie's first goal of the season. He had 4 last year, so the mistake that time by Putna, and some life back for T2.
Oh, that's a penalty.
Villarreal says play on. A fortunate break there for T2. And a little life here for the home side. A new game. Can they even things? Augie Williams, first of the season. Can you give an assist to the opposing goalie?
Oh, you can thank him, though.
Thank him after the match. Yeah. And a corner kick. And you can see now the players for T2 moving a little quicker. First corner from this side, and it's Bijev over to take it. First one he has taken tonight. He'll play it short, gets it back from Bjornathan. Bijev now whips it in. The ball takes a bounce. It's loose. Batista trying to knock it down. Cleared out by Moberg. You can feel a little bit of energy now back on the side of T2. Hoffman playing it down the line. Played across for Velasquez. Brody knocks it down. Brody putting it on goal. No trouble that time for McIntosh.
You know, this could be a humdinger of a 25 minutes. I think there's going to be chances both ends.
And the question is, will Shannon Murray go to the bench?
Well, I think he's going to have to, because I would think these guys are really tired.
Here's a shot. Just wide. Not a bad look from just outside the 18. And I believe that's Haber, who just checked into the match.
I think if he's going to go to the bench, he should go into midfield, because them guys have been running all over the place. They got to be pretty tired. Maybe he could have some fresh legs in midfield.
No, a bunch of guys getting loose on the sideline. First match for everybody tonight, so players still finding their fitness, game fitness. And a cool night. Is it a little harder to play too as well when it's a cold night like this?
No, you know, it helps a little. You know, it's really hard when it's your first game, you're not fit, and it's really hard.
Bodily, nice effort, not going to get there. It'll be a throw-in. 2-1 our score. Real led 1-0 at halftime. They went up 2-0 on Nick Beasler's first of the season. Both goals for the Monarchs are corner kick set pieces. But Portland has answered off the defensive mistake from Putna. Augie Williams, first of the season. Koringa will put it back in play. T2 win it back. Bijev trying to dribble out of traffic. That pass takes a deflection. Ball whipped into the top of the 18. Haber knocking it down with his left foot. McIntosh trying to get there.
You know, that was a great, great save. Brave.
Good luck for Real in the 68th minute.
Yeah, look at that. That's a really great, brave save.
Kendall McIntosh on loan tonight from the Timbers. 8-7-3 record last year, just a 1.17 goals against average, and keeps it a 1-goal game here in the 68th minute. T2 last year 12-14-4. Tied for the 8th spot at the end of the regular season, but lost out on making the playoffs on goal differential, but were that close to getting into the postseason for the first time.
Yeah, they had a tremendous finish of the season.
Won 5 straight matches.
They looked really good. I watched them through those games, and they looked really exciting.
They outscored their opponents those last 5 games 13-3 and had 3 shutouts. Granito going to switch it. Bodily trying to get there. And there's some contact. So we can get another look at it. That's Koringa. Bodily
No, I think he was just trying to get out of the way of him, and he just...
I don't think there was any intent there.
No intent at all. He just ran into him, actually.
They're taking a look at Kyle Koringa from Clearwater, Florida. And you can see Mike Pecky.
Yeah, see the ball. Bodley's just trying to get out of the way, and he runs straight into him. So, and of course he's dying. You know, sometimes it annoys me when the other players come in and try and get him red carded. You know, the kid didn't mean it. Trying to get out of the way. You know, he ran straight into him. Look at him, he's smiling. Nothing the matter with him.
And it's interesting because one of the big mandates from Pro-Rel this year, or from Pro, was from the refs, was the idea of dissent. And they're giving out cards left and right in Major League Soccer for any kind of dissent or argument with the refs. This was a key point of contention. And we've seen a number of cards handed out for any kind of argument this year.
But I think players are their own worst enemies. I mean, how do you stop them crowding around the referees, push him, give him a red card, give him a red card. I mean, I don't know how you stop that.
Throw in for T2. Cleared back toward midfield. Knocked down Renico Clark. Batista, the 6'5" center backs. That pass intercepted. One right back by T2. It's a 2-1 game. Augie Williams, first of the year. Got T2 back in this one. Velasquez. Hoffman now worked out wide. Brody down the right flank. Bodley trying to get back defensively. Good work by the youngster. The 19-year-old wins it back. Great hustle. Down the ball in the middle. Switch by Granito out wide to Jimenez. 72nd minute. Clark looking around, is going to float it forward for Bijev. Nice job to knock it down. Real wins it back. Long switch for Velasquez. Batista's going to play it back for McIntosh. Looks like we are going to have our first sub of the game shortly here for T2. Bodley. Bjornathan. Better movement here as T2 switch it. Clark time and space to operate up toward midfield. We're not seeing really as much pressure along that back line as we saw in the first half. I guess players might just be tired here for the Monarchs.
You can tell players are tired. They just kind of give bad passes.
Arboleda playing it on the deck. Bodley over the crossbar. Great look for T2 here in the 73rd minute.
This is a great chance. That's a great cross. Look at that.
Jimenez playing it on the deck, and Bodley just couldn't get it on frame.
Yeah, he's leaning back when he shoots it. So, what a shame. That would have been a great goal.
Well, here's Jacob Montez, just 18 years old, into the match for Lewis. He is part of the Timbers Academy, but he comes in for Andre Lewis. So a young squad just got a little younger with the 18-year-old into the match.
Let's see what you're made of. You're 18, but if you're out there, you're old enough, you're big enough. So let's hope he does well. I really like Bodley. He's an animal for work rate. He's always working hard, gets back. He's tough, got a good left foot. Looks like he has a great attitude. I like him.
He's like a guy who works hard at both ends.
Yeah, he's. I bet he's one of them that goes out and you know what you're going to get every time he goes out.
2-1 game here. A life for T2 after the goal from Williams. Good work that time by Bijev defensively to win it back. McIntosh will play it short to Batista. Tonight's crowd, 2,602 at Providence Park. Next home match not until April 8th against Orange County SC. Williams, Renito. Thorns open up preseason action tomorrow. We'll take on Chicago here at 5 o'clock. Bijev with a nice move, looking to play Augie in. What a spin move that time from Bijev just to get away from some pressure.
You know, it's the opener, they're tired, they're not quite fit yet. You could tell that was a tired pass. You know, his legs are starting to go. You know, it's a fun game to watch now. It's end to end, you know, mistakes are getting made. They're going to make chances both ends, so.
Still time for T2 here. 15 minutes and change. Arboleda is going to win this foot race. Here comes T2, 3-on-3 opportunity. Arboleda toward the byline, trying to play it back for Williams. Real trying to counter. Haber almost got there. Clark, good job to win it back. Jimenez going to switch it into the middle for Batista. Omar Batista, time to operate. Benito comes back to collect it. Benito going to switch it down the flank. Looking for Montez, not enough on that ball. One back by Real. Adams, he'll play a long switch down the left flank. Haber knocks it down. Jimenez back defensively. Good spin that time. Like a wiki. Trying to whip it in. That goes out off of Jimenez. A throw in here for Real.
A lot of tired legs out there now. Fun game to watch now, though, huh?
Like you said, it's certainly more end-to-end. And just more life on the side of T2 after that goal by Williams. Real operating in the corner. Like a wiki trying to split two defenders. Still has it on his right foot, playing it across. Jornathan just got a piece of that.
Oh.
Here we go the other way. The ball knocked down by Augie. Williams, edge of the 18 with the right foot, playing it across. Bijev looking to turn. Trying to get it back from Montez. The T2 fans wanted a handball, no call. Time for Velasquez. 3-on-3 opportunity for Real the other way. Brody, edge of the 18. Cutting inside with the left foot, takes the shot, it's blocked. Bodley does a great job to keep that in. There's the hustle of the 19-year-old.
Yeah, he's...
And Bjornathan clears it to midfield. Arboleda tracks it down. Arboleda making his run. Here he goes. The speedster still with it. And that time can't get by the defender. Good work that time. Leko Wiki wins that battle.
You know, sometimes he forgets to look up, you know.
Velasquez, time down the near flank. Brody, who had a goal meeting between these two teams last year at Rio Tinto. Adams to assist on the night off the corner kicks. Here's a shot, punched away by McIntosh. Going up high for that one.
What a great save. Yeah, he hits it really well. Look at that.
Haber.
Top corner. Great save.
And a corner kick here for Real in the 79th minute. Opening match of the 2017 USL season. We're at Providence Park. Tom Kolker, Willie Anderson, thanks for joining us here on the Timbers 2 stream.
Hey, it's fun. It's getting funner by the minute.
Yep. Adams will whip it in. Knocked down, takes a bounce through the 18 and cleared out. It's amazing how many times we've seen that ball take that bounce inside the area tonight.
And with the size we have, it's...
Nico Brett going to check in, so here's some more offense, and Bodley's going to come out. Good work effort tonight from Bodley, but Brett's going to come in. 28 appearances last year, 7 goals, 3 assists. He was second on the team in goals.
Is he going to play down the left, I guess?
You certainly get a guy who can score on the field. He was second on the team in goals, and he comes in for Blake Bodley here in the 80th minute. 2-1 game. T2 looking to equalize. Haber trying to play it across. He will earn a corner kick.
And we're not looking too good on corners. We've only got a 6'4", a 6'5", and a 6'3" guy in there. Why should we look good?
Right. Yeah. Well, 3 times the ball's bounced inside the box, and both of Real's goals have come off corner kicks. This one from the far side for the first time in the second half. It's an outswinger. McIntosh gets to it. I think Clark was the first man there. 10 minutes to go here for T2, looking for the equalizer. You can see Real dropping off more and more here, not really pressing the back line.
Run out of steam, I think, run out of legs.
See if Nico Brett, who has fresh legs, can make a difference. Batista trying to play it down the line. Cleared back toward midfield that time. Here's Adams through the center circle. Charlie Adams, good ball out wide. Time and space for Brody to push it forward. Brody, all kinds of space to operate on the right flank. Cuts it into the 18. Brody toward the byline. He'll spin away from traffic. Goringa playing it back to midfield. A little keep away here by Real. Now it's whipped in toward the area. Ball hangs in the air. Offside flag up. Hoffman in an offside position. Renico Clark with it. Given room just shy of midfield. Granito.
You know, if I was T2, I'd be trying to get it out to Arboleda, get him running, just let him go up people.
Throwing for Real. Has made a couple good runs here in the second half. 4 goals last year. 2-1 game if you're just joining us. James Moberg in the 10th minute off a corner kick set piece put Real up 1-0. Nick Beasler opening moments of the second half. 49th minute made it 2-0 off another corner kick. Here's a chance. Arboleda, edge of the 18, playing it on the deck. Cleared away. Nico Brett was open on the other side. Had that ball gotten through.
It was a great ball. Took advantage of his pace.
Here's a chance. Granito trying to play it across. Brett just couldn't get to it. So it was 2-0 after Beasler's goal off the corner kick. Then Augie Williams making it a 2-1 game off the defensive mistake by Putna. Haber trying to make a run. Jimenez cuts that off. Granito. Jimenez looking for options. Arboleda can't control it, goes out. It'll be a throw in for Real. Time winding down here for T2.
About what, 7 minutes?
A little bit of stoppage time. We haven't had too much here in the second half.
Arboleda, there you go.
Bijev trying to find Arboleda. And a throw and good work on the far side of the field at that time by Williams. Renico Clark. Batista.
You know, if T2 could just find the energy, because you can tell the Monarchs are really tired, just to go at them last 7-8 minutes. There we go.
Williams spinning away from pressure. One back by Real. Velasquez unable to catch that ball. Batista tracks it down. Quickly push it forward. Montez, the youngster. Bijev spinning away from traffic. Here's Bijev. Look at that time for Clark, or pardon me, for Nico Brett. And a throw in here for T2. Vijay just unable to get enough on that one.
Yeah, you know, I think he's just tired legs. Just not sharp enough right now.
Second sub of the game for Real. We're going to bring in Jesus Leal. It's been 3 seasons with Club America and Liga MX, made just 4 appearances. 24 years old. So he will come in for Velasquez. I know you thought Velasquez had a great game.
Yeah. Yeah, I was glad to see him go off. Oh.
Adams winning it back, pushing it out wide. Here's a chance for Real. Haber just inside the 18 with it on his right foot. Jimenez tracking back, playing it along the deck. A shot and a save by McIntosh. What a great save. There's the quick reaction.
Yeah, he's
Kendall McIntosh.
He's a good goalkeeper. You know, he's sharp, got good hands.
There's a foul against Real, taken quickly. Montez. Looking around. Plays it out wide, a chance for T2. Arboleda, right wing, edge of the 18, playing it in. Headed out by Real. Montez wins it back. Next home game here for T2 on April 8th against Orange County SC. Tickets available at timbers.com/tickets. That's a 7 o'clock start right here at Providence Park. 2-1 game. Real led 2-0, both goals on corner kick set pieces. T2 answered with Augie Williams, his first of the season, off of the defensive mistake. As Andrew Putnam tried to roll it out to his center back, who was not paying attention and went off of Orozco right to Williams to put it away. Arboleda, edge of the 18, again attacking. Arboleda gets by one defender, trying to play it across. The ball takes a deflection. Oh, Williams was there on the other end. Putnam went up high to get it. A little bit of space for Arboleda.
Yeah, you know, I thought he could have gone down there and that could have been a penalty. It's too honest.
87th minute. Renico Clark. Batista. Bijev. There's Granito. Does T2 have an answer to equalize? Opening match of the 2017 USL season. Renico Clark trying to make a run. It's taken down. And a free kick here for T2 in the 88th minute from the right wing.
Yeah. This should be a great opportunity to get a decent ball in.
Substitution here for T2. Russell Cicerone's going to check in. He will come in for Bjornathan, the right back, so offense for defense. Cicerone, the 4th round pick of the 2017 draft. As the ball whipped in, headed out. Had 42 goals and 21 assists in 4 seasons at Buffalo. He certainly can provide some offense. Real going the other way. Hoffman has to take it off his foot. Can T2 find the equalizer late?
Let's go.
Time and space. T2 on the attack on the right flank. Bijev trying to split a couple defenders. It's cleared out. Will be a throw in for T2. And a substitution for Real.
Substitution for the Real Monarchs in the match, number 56, Skylar Milne, replacing number 49,
Skylar Milne will check in the game. First ever player from Utah Valley State to sign a professional soccer contract. Pretty good.
That's great. Go Utah State.
And a goal in the preseason.
He's a big guy. Look at him. Whoa.
89th minute. T2's got to push forward now. Renito at midfield. Back to Clark. Time and space for Renico Clark. He'll play it short. Montez. It's it back from Jimenez. Renito. Batista earns a throw-in. Renito in the middle. Cicerone trying to knock it down. Renico Clark does a good job to win it back in midfield for T2. We're in the 90th minute, approaching stoppage time. We will have 3 minutes of added time here at Providence Park. So still life for T2. Bijev gets around one defender. Spinning through two, still with it on his right foot. Bijev pushes it out wide. Cicerone, edge of the 18, working toward the byline. Trying to play it across. Renico Clark wins it. And Adams will just play it to midfield to alleviate the pressure. Better work here from T2. Flag up on the far side.
You know, you should never be caught offside when you're wide, looking down the line. What a shame.
Gives Real a little bit of time here to try and kill a few seconds off the clock. T2 will be at Swope Park on Wednesday in Kansas City, then their first match against Sounders 2 on Sunday before returning home to take on Orange County FC. April 8th, 7 o'clock start. Montez. Batista spinning away from pressure. He'll play it back to McIntosh. We're in stoppage time. You can see 3 minutes were added. We're in the 92nd minute. Batista going to play a long ball into the middle. Here's a chance. Arboleda pushing it down the line. Cicero trying to get there. Stays on his feet. Spins, plays it across. It's headed on goal and the save.
That was a heck of a chance.
Williams almost his second of the night. Putnam with a nice reaction.
That's a great cross. Just
correction,
can't get
Nico
enough
Brett.
head. Yeah, just can't get enough head on it.
It was Nico Brett with the opportunity. 7 goals last year for T2. Minute to go. Haber working down the far sideline. Earns a throw-in. T2 trying to win it back here. Looking for maybe one more opportunity. Real doing a good job of just killing the clock in that far corner, and another throw-in.
So frustrating when you watch this. I mean, especially if a player. You know, you do it if it was yourself, but it's still frustrating.
A much better second half, though, for T2.
Yeah, way
compared
better.
to that first half.
Yeah. I just thought the Monarchs were way ahead of them fitness-wise, and their system played really well. They looked more organized.
And that is it. T2 in the opening match of the year. A good second half effort, but they fall a little short. Final score here tonight from Providence Park. Monarchs 2, T2 1. Willie, when you think about this and you go back to the first half, Real really dominated possession in that first half, led that, 1-0. Probably T2 fortunate just to be down 1 goal at the halftime break.
Yeah, I was thankful that they only went in 1 down. They could have gone in 2 or 3 down and the game would have been over. But the Monarchs just looked steps ahead of them. They looked more compact, more solid. They were really aggressive in trying to win the ball all over the field. I just thought they were a way better team in the first half.
Let's take a look at the highlights from this one tonight. We go back to that first half where the Monarchs really dominated possession. And here's Adams putting it in, and the ball hanging in the air. Moberg gets the first of the season.
Yeah, you know, that should never happen. We got too many big guys in the back. He gets a free header. You know, something went wrong. And BJ, you know, he didn't get enough of that. He didn't get the ball enough in and around the box where he could do his magic.
Similar to the first half, a corner kick set piece, and it's Nick Beasler wide open in the box.
Yeah, you know, people are not picked up. I mean, I'm sure you, if you're the coach, you're not a happy camper. I mean, you know, there's guys free all over the place.
That made it 2-0 at that point.
And that made it a really hard game for T2, you know, to come back from that.
And here's the defensive mistake. You can see Putna
not even
roll it
looking
out.
at the
Orozco
ball.
has
No
no
idea.
idea,
No
and then
idea.
Williams puts it away.
It's like, thank you, it's my birthday. Yeah, no idea, look, he's no idea what's going on. But you know, Williams saw it, jumped at the chance, kept his head, great.
Well, that gave some life back to T2, made it a 1-goal game at that point. Here's Brody whipping one in.
Goalkeeper does great here.
McIntosh made a few great saves tonight.
Yeah.
So first match of the year in the books, not the result you want, but it's always good to get the first one in, and now you move on. You can't waste a lot of time. The next game this Wednesday.
No, you know, another 2 games, they'll be pretty much match fit, but, you know, it was definitely in an opener. They didn't look sharp. They didn't look, you know, system-wise wasn't working too well. But, you know, they'll get better. By the 3rd game, they should be up and running. And, you know, they got some good talent out there. They got a lot of young players, which is great. So, you know, they will only get better.
Final score from Providence Park in the opening match of the 2017 USL season. Real 2, T2 1. For Willie Anderson and our entire crew, I'm Tom Colker. Thanks for watching this presentation of T2 Soccer. Have a great night, everyone.